Alright guys, so we have our raviolis and our sauce that we made. So we're gonna give it a quick taste test and kind of see how it is. I'm here with my coworkers right now. They just tried it. So let's give it a taste test. I have a little bit of the pecans and a little bit of the prosciutto. We're gonna give it a taste test. It's actually pretty good. It's like sweet and salty.
Oh, it's excellent.
Thank you. Thank you. If you haven't done so already, guys, go home, make this, and let me know in the comment section below if you did made it already or you plan to. And if you have any suggestions, any food suggestions, let me know in the comment section below and I can make it for you in the next video or the next couple of videos. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and I'll see you all in the next video. Okay guys, so in today's video, we're going to be doing something entirely different, something we've never done before on the channel. We are going to be making a butternut squash ravioli. I got this from my local BJ's. BJ's Wholesale. This is where you can find this. I was originally going to do lobster, but they didn't have any more lobster, so we ended up going with the fall season. We're going to make butternut squash raviolis. Now, this is going to be the easy part when cooking it. The hard part is coming up with the proper sauce to be able to top and complement the taste of the butternut squash raviolis. We also have some garlic bread knots. Now, the thing about making this type of sauce, because I don't want to use marinara, because I don't know exactly how it's going to complement the raviolis, I'm going to try to create my sauce from scratch. Here are the things I'm definitely 100% using. I'm going to be using some prosciutto. I'm going to be using chopped pecans, or pecans, however you want to pronounce that. I'm also going to be using a white wine vinegar. Okay, I'm also going to be using Moscato. I am using Moscato. This is my favorite. I love to drink this, but I'm not drinking it right now. We have some Moscato. Really good wine. We're going to be using this. Use onion to caramelize this a lot better. We are going to be using some heavy whipping cream. Some olive oil. Of course, seasonings and stuff like that. And here's the thing, I'm not exactly sure if I want to incorporate them in yet, because I'm playing around with the sauce, because I am trying to make a full flavor sauce. I'm thinking about either using Stonewall Kitchen apple cinnamon jam. Not exactly sure if I want to use it. I don't think I'm gonna, but it's there just in case for inspiration. And then, of course, we do have some ginger paste to kind of give more of that tangy vibe. Again, I don't know if I'm using those two items. We're going to find out in today's video. We're going to taste as we go. The best thing I could recommend for you if you're ever making something from scratch is use the color wheel. If it complements the color, use it. If it doesn't complement the color, it's advised to use with caution or don't use it at all. Alright guys, so let's go ahead. Let's move on to making the sauce. This is probably the most difficult part of the whole process. Alright guys, so I'm a little nervous in how this is going to play out, but I have some faith in myself. I have a lot of trust in what I can do and a lot of my abilities. So we're just going to wing it and see how it goes. I'm going to use what I know is safe, and then we build it up slowly until I get to a comfortable level where I'm like, the flavor's there. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab yourself a nice soap pot and a lid. We're not going to use the lid right at the moment. And we're going to pour in a teeny tiny bit of olive oil. That's a good amount. What this is going to do is going to allow, this is extra virgin olive oil in case you didn't know, but what this is going to allow us to do is going to allow us to caramelize the flavor of the prosciutto. My idea is to really enhance the flavor, add some pecan, add some salt to it, and kind of balance that more to a sweet savory sauce. Alright, we're going to turn on the overhead vent. If you have an overhead vent, turn it on. If you have a gas stove, very important. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do, because this is the amount of olive oil that you're looking for, we are going to turn this on. I'll probably say it in between medium and simmer. Alright, we're going to let this start to simmer. In between medium and simmer, it's going to allow it to cook a little faster, but not too fast. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to put in our diced prosciutto. This is like bacon. This is basically how I say it's like Italian bacon. That's essentially what it is. The next thing I'm going to want to do is open this bag of diced chopped pecans. I'm going to throw this in here as well. You start to see that this is starting to boil, bubble a lot faster than I want. This is not what I want. I want it to be a slower pace. so that we can put the chopped garlic in. So we're going to lower this all the way down to extra low. I would say 2 sprinkles would be enough for this recipe, maybe a third, that seems like enough. We're going to sprinkle this with a little bit of salt and black pepper. The salt that I'm using is pink Himalayan salt. I'm now going to take my spatula and move it around to kind of get a little flavor incorporated. Because I'm on a time limit, we're actually going to be using minced garlic instead. That's what we'll be using. Now, if you, by any chance, want to use the garlic clove, by all means, go ahead. Just remember, the way you cut it will determine how strong of a flavor the garlic comes out in the meal, or in the sauce. I'll take one of these spoons, one of my favorite spoons. I think a good decent amount of garlic will do. So I would say about this much would be good. This will probably be about like 1/3 a cup if you're using measuring cup. So I'm going to add a little bit more. I never overdo the garlic. Adding parsley would actually balance out the flavor of the garlic, keeping it more well balanced. So don't worry about if you accidentally add too much garlic. You'll balance it out with a little bit of parsley, and parsley will balance everything out. That's how it's supposed to look. So we got the garlic, we got the prosciutto, and we got the pecan. That's exactly how it's supposed to look. Now that we have everything incorporated, we're going to turn up the heat in between medium and simmer again. Of course, you want this to caramelize. Now, it would be a great opportunity to add in maybe a yellow onion or a sweet onion. This would be great, but unfortunately, I don't have that. So there is a substitution. Another great substitution for when making this sauce when you don't have any onion is always make sure you have minced or chopped onion on hand. This could be really helpful for really bringing out that onion flavor when you really need it, when you don't feel like you want to chop onions, when you have none at home. You're going to give this about a good sprinkle, I would say. A good sprinkle too. We're going to let this caramelize a little bit. We're going to allow the flavor to be really brought out. So when we incorporate the sauce, it's going to be enhanced further. Next thing you're going to want to do is make sure you constantly keep an eye on the item in here because it does burn a lot quicker. So keep that in mind. Also, grab yourself a big fat pot. We're going to fill this halfway up with water and some Himalayan salt, and we'll put raviolis in here later on. We want to prep this with a lot quicker and easier while you're waiting for the sauce to start being made. Okay, so this is exactly what we're looking for. If you notice on the bottom of the pot, there's a little bit of burnt. This is caramelization. This is really good. It's really smell it. It tastes phenomenal. This is only what happens when it's on the stove for a couple of minutes, but this is what you're looking for. Okay, so now we're ready for the next part, and that is incorporating the white wine vinegar into this mix. It's an Italian white wine vinegar. We're going to dabble that up. And we're going to lower the heat on the simmer. Make sure you mix everything thoroughly with the white wine, and we're going to add in now Moscato. Be careful with the vinegar. The vinegar can be very bitter. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for more like a sweet, harvest taste. We are now going to take our Moscato. We're going to pour some in. Pour slowly. Looks like a good amount. We're going to add a little bit more now that it's no longer going to splatter in my face. We're going to add a little bit of a splash more of white wine vinegar. Okay, good amount. Now, if you look here already, you're gonna start to see that brown color. Remember that caramelization that's on the bottom of the pot that I told you that was really good? That is the stuff that's floating. Now the flavor that's gonna be brought out when we add the heavy whipping cream into this to really bring home the flavor of the sauce, which is exactly what you want. You want to put this on simmer and to allow the flavor of the white wine and the Moscato to be brought into the sauce, and then we'll add a little bit of heavy whipping cream, and then we're done. But in the meantime, we're gonna fill this out halfway with water, some Himalayan salt, like I said earlier, and we are gonna get this ready for our ravioli. Okay, so this is what you want to look for when you're making your sauce, when everything's caramelizing with the white wine vinegar and the Moscato. It's exactly what you're looking for. But while this is starting to simmer, we are going to move on to our ravioli part. I filled up the water, kept about 2 to 3 inches above the top of the line, so that if it bubbles or boils, it doesn't overflow. But we're going to add in some Himalayan salt, allow this to boil, then we're going to pour in our ravioli. You're going to put this on, I will probably say high for right now to get it ready to boil. Make sure you always give it a good stir. I can really smell the flavor being brought out. It smells phenomenal. I'm really excited for my coworkers later to try this. And you let me know in the comments below if you made this at home already for yourself. Alright, while we're letting that simmer, we are now going to take our Himalayan salt and just go crazy. Go crazy. The only time you're allowed to go crazy with salt. That looks good. We're going to allow this to boil, then we'll pour in our raviolis. Okay, so now we're ready for our taste test of the caramelized prosciutto and pecans. We're going to try to see what it tastes like so we know what flavor we're working with and how to complement it. We'll put what you got, so we'll try to work against what you have. I want to make sure I got the pecans too, and the prosciutto. Good. So what you're looking for? The nuttiness of the pecan is really working alongside the prosciutto, so it tastes phenomenal down front. The bitterness from the vinegar cannot be understated. It's really tasty undernote here. I'm going to complement that with a little bit of a sweetener to really bring out the flavor without going overboard. Because it is a fall flavored meat, we're going to go very light on the apple cinnamon jam. We're going to incorporate this very slowly while simmers before we add in the heavy whipping cream. Overall, tastes phenomenal. We're going to take a big spoon, just a good amount. We're not trying to go overboard here. We're not trying to give anybody diabetes. Hopefully this will be enough to balance out some of that bitterness. If not, we'll add some honey or maple syrup into this to kind of bring more of that fall harvest flavor. But I think personally this should be fine, but we'll give it a taste test in a little bit. In the meantime, I want to add in a little bit of Worcestershire sauce and a little bit of toasted sesame seed oil to really enhance the flavor. Okay, so now we have an organic toasted sesame seed oil. I found it at my local Trader Joe's. And then I also got myself a nice Worcestershire sauce. These two things are going to complement the sauce very nicely with the prosciutto and the onions. And a little bit of the garlic as well. So this is going to take a good splash. I think that will take a good amount. Don't go crazy, because whenever it's a little bit on the savory side of bitterness, you want to finish once you're well balanced with a little bit of sweetness, so don't go crazy. And then for the organic sesame seed oil, because you already have the olive oil on here, in here already, do not add too much oil because it's going to make it oily. That's not what we're looking for either. What you're going to do is you're just going to give this a light splash. Good amount. This is going to give more of that toasted flavor without going crazy. Okay, it really brings out the flavor as well. You can actually just cover over it and really smell it, or that you can really smell it. I'm gonna give it a taste test to see what we're working with now. I really think I want this one. Perfect. Has the right amount of bitterness, the right amount of sweetness, a little bit of salt. Perfect. You don't need to do anything else to it. And last, when we add the heavy whipping cream, you might need to adjust the seasoning because it is going to water it down a bit. But phenomenal, phenomenal sauce. It's going to go on the savory side, a little bit nutty. I'm going to add a little bit more pecan because you notice that there's too much meat to the pecan ratio. Because we're adding more later on in the process, where the earlier ones are more cooked thoroughly, this is going to add more of the crunch throughout the whole entire experience. We're going to give about 2 more handfuls of pecans. Help it good amount. And we're going to lightly stir it in. Once this starts to boil or starts to bubble in the sauce that we're making, then it's time for us to start incorporating the heavy whipping. Now, as for the boiling pan or the hot water, we're almost ready for our ravioli. We still got a little bit of time to go, but we're not quite there yet. After stirring, it's now ready for its last part, last ingredient, which is going to be the heavy whipping cream. We're going to pour it in now. This is going to allow it to become thicker, which is going to be really important when we're making a proper sauce. You're going to want to mix it thoroughly so it really has the combination of the heavy whipping cream and more of the creamy note. Now this could be easily complemented if you add in a little bit of Parmesan. You can add Parmesan cheese into the sauce, or when you're done with the sauce, you make the ravioli, top it off with a little bit of Parmesan cheese, or better yet, a sharp white cheddar. Another great option as well that would work really beautifully with this would be provolone. You can get creative, you can kind of customize the sauce. Another great thing to go with this would also be mushroom. That would also be a great addition to the sauce itself. We're going to allow it to simmer so we get to the potency and put in more hot ingredients. Then we're going to wait for it to start simmering, and then we're going to allow the sauce to thicken. Okay, so this is our sauce that we just made. We put the heavy whipping cream. You can see the caramelization that has combined with the white wine with the ingredients that we incorporated. We're going to allow it to simmer slowly, becoming to a thicker sauce. In the meantime, we're ready for our raviolis. Okay, so I just opened this packet of ravioli. We're going to slowly incorporate this into the pot. Don't go too fast. You're going to boil it and start burning itself. Be very careful when pouring it slowly into the hot boiling water. I'm going to do the same with the other packet. I hope I have enough sauce for everything. Okay, so we're going to let this sit and cook for about 4 minutes. But once it starts moving pretty rapidly, then we're ready. We're going to put it in a strainer and allow it to cool down before serving with the sauce. So I got myself the strainer for the ravioli, so when they're done cooking, we're going to pour them in here and let them cool down. You can see the sauce is almost done, but we're going to add some more white wine and heavy whipping cream to be able to create more sauce. And I've just realized as I poured in all these raviolis, there are too many to the sauce ratio, so I gotta make more sauce to complement the amount of raviolis. I lowered the temperature on the ravioli to medium because it was way too high up. And while that's cooking, when it starts covering the sauce, we're gonna make it more creamy texture. As I was mixing and stirring around, it was more watery and runny. I have a solution. Right, you can see the steam. It's telling me it's ready. I already know it's ready for 4 minutes. That's already passed. We're going to transfer this over to the strainer now and let it cool down. So to thicken the sauce, that's our prop that we want to create here. We want to thicken the sauce without burning. I took some cornstarch put some cold water with the cornstarch. I took Moscato cornstarch powder, and I took 2 big scoops of this spoon, and I mixed it in with water so there's no clumps. I'm going to slowly incorporate this into the sauce itself to help thicken the sauce. Do not pour the cornstarch into the powder into the sauce itself, but it will clump up, and that's not what you want. Now it became a sauce, like way too thick. That's fine, so we're going to add in more wine and everything to make it loosen it up a little bit. I'm going to show you what it looks like. So now you can see after I started putting the cornstarch in, it really thickened up very much. We're going to loosen this up a little bit more. All right, we're going to have to move quickly because it is going to burn. We're going to add some more heavy whipping cream to really make it more creamy and rich in texture. We're going to mix that in first. What a creamy paste. It's most phenomenal. We're going to let this slowly simmer, allow it to really bring out and enhance the flavor. But this is exactly the texture we're looking for now, so I'll show you. It's more like a gravy texture rather than, what's it called, like buttery or too thick. Perfect texture. Okay, as you start to see here, it's not as thick as it was before, not as runny as before. It's the perfect consistency. This is exactly what we're looking for. Okay, so now as we wait for the sauce to kind of be incorporated with the white wine, it's going to need to sit longer to really take out that wine alcohol flavor. We are now going to turn on the oven. We're going to put it on bake. Put the garlic nuts in. Okay, so now the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to put this on bake, and we are going to put this temperature on 375. Let's see, did it come up? Nope. Perfect. We're gonna wait for it ready to heat, and then we'll put everything in. You don't want it at 400, you want it at 375. Good testament to any good sauce is to give it a good taste test. First, we're gonna stir it one last time, and then we're gonna taste to see how it is. The aroma from the wine really brings the flavor of this out really well. It is a little bit on the sweet note now, so when I season a little bit more, it should be perfectly fine. It's phenomenal. I think personally it needs a little bit of salt. You want what's really nice about this sauce, it tastes like there's cheese in it, but there's no cheese at all. That's the most bizarre thing, but it tastes phenomenal. We're going to add a little bit more black pepper seasoning. Perfect. We're going to add some chopped minced garlic. Good amount. It's not garlic, this is onion. And then we're going to add in some very slight granulated garlic powder. We already added garlic earlier, so don't go crazy with it. Perfect. Good amount. We're going to mix this in. Alright, we're ready for another taste test. How does the seasoning taste with this? Perfect. Phenomenal. It's a little bit sweet, a little bit savory. It has a nutty crunch to it. Perfect. I think this is one of my favorite sauces that I have ever made, and it's all from scratch. Trust in the process, guys. Trust in the process. You don't know how good of a cook you can really be if you just give yourself a try. The last thing that we're going to incorporate into this sauce is some peppercorn Romano grated cheese, or better yet, Parmesan. Parmesan and Romano work perfectly well for this sauce. Done. It had a little bit too much oil, so I'm hoping the Parmesan really would absorb the excess oil. That's what I'm hoping for. Plus, it's going to enhance the flavor overall of the sauce and the butternut squash. I cannot wait to try this in a little bit. Okay, so the last part that we're going to do for today is we're going to be making and prepping our garlic knots. You can find these at your local Aldi. They're very cheap. They come in a whole bunch, and they're only like $2. I got my piece of pan because I'm not doing this on a regular tray because it's way too difficult, so we're just going to use one of these. Perfect, we're done. We're going to pop this into the oven for about 9 minutes, take them out, and put them in the soy container and get it ready to go to my job. You can, of course, season your garlic knots with a little bit of Parmesan as stated on the package, but I don't have any more Parmesan. I use it for the sauce, so there's that. But you can go ahead and season your garlic knots if you like. After looking up online how to get rid of excess oil in your sauce, I ended up coming across a thing that said put some ice on a plain ladle and just cover it to harden up the oil so you can lift it and take it out. See if it works. Not working so far. Well, it took some of the oil out, but it's not taken. Yeah, I wonder if that is the possibly be like the one. Does not seem to work. Nope. We'll come up with another solution. So essentially what I ended up doing was I ended up taking the sauce and letting it sit and let the oil come to the top. And I took a little, you know that Parmesan container I used before that I used called a Parmesan? I poured the oil into that Parmesan container and threw it out. It ended up working. And I realized probably why the spoon method didn't work for me. It just already caked on the bottom and it wasn't picking up any more, it wasn't cold enough. But this looks perfect, there's not enough oil going to the top, so we're perfectly good. Okay, so we're just about done. I got the garlic knots done, they're completed, they look great. Look at this. Nice and crunchy, soft on the inside. We have our sauce for later. You can see the oil building up, that's fine, because when I pour it on top of the raviolis, we're gonna mix it in and then pour it on. Or when it's hardened in the fridge for a little bit, I'm gonna scoop all the excess oil out once it goes to the top, and then we'll put it in the microwave and cook it for my coworkers. And then of course I have my packaged in airtight container raviolis. Later on, I'll give it a taste test and let you guys know how it is. Okay, so we're gonna get ready to eat. We just finished plating the raviolis and the sauce. Now the sauce kind of looks a little bit more of the texture and style of more of like, it looks more like a texture of stuffing, but that's also due to the nuttiness of the pecans that is allowing it to become more chunky rather than more creamy, but that's perfectly okay. I had my coworkers try it, they said it was phenomenal, they loved it. So I'm gonna give it a try, see what I think. But first, let me just show you what it looks like. You kind of see here, it looks like ground meat, but it's not. It really looks like when you're actually seeing it really close up, you can kind of really see the pecans in here and all the different flavor. It has a very, very aroma, very similar to like stuffing, like Thanksgiving stuffing. So this really hits home with the comfort food, especially trying to replicate a harvest style dinner. This would definitely do it. So we're gonna give it a taste test, see what we think here. But I can really tell you right now, I see the prosciutto in here, I can see the raviolis. It looks absolutely stunning, absolutely delicious. But let me just show you what it looks like more close up. So you can kind of see the butterscotch filling with risotto and some prosciutto and the other sauce, or whatever you want to call it. I wouldn't even call this sauce anymore, I just call it stuffing. Okay. Inside the ravioli, it tastes like a very thick butternut squash cream cheese, but has a little bit of a sweet harvest note to it. The saltiness from the now stuffing allows to enhance the aroma of the butterscotch by contrasting it with a little bit more savory and a little bit of salty note. Really beautifully done, delicious, absolutely delicious. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and make it at home. The crunch from the pecans, when we first put it in, really smoothed out the now stuffing sauce. And then the added pecans later on in the video really brought home that extra crunch that isn't really like well sitting in water. Phenomenal. This is really, really good actually. So go ahead and make it at home if you haven't done so already. And I will see you guys all in the next video. Thank you for watching and I'll see you soon.